Did you know you can spend $1 more than once? And the faster you spend it again and again, the more wealth you build up. This is called the velocity of money. In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can get your money working harder than you do. And I'm gonna show you some of the very best ways to do this. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back, Market Disruptors. Today, we are gonna talk about the velocity of money. This is the #1 topic that you guys have requested, and so I'm bringing it for you today. Now, on Thursdays, we talk about investing. Typically, we talk about investing in cryptocurrencies because I think they're the most explosive asset class available, but I believe in diversification, and there's a bunch of ways that you can invest to really maximize that. On Tuesdays, I like to talk about before you invest. So that's about how you can make more money so we can save more money and then we can invest. They work together so that you can be successful in life. So back to this, a few weeks ago, I was talking in a video and I kind of introduced this velocity of money concept, and you guys lit up the comments and said, please, more about velocity of money. And so I'm bringing it. So we're gonna get into it right away. So here we go. All right, so the first thing about velocity of money that you need to know is it's really about how fast the money moves. It's kind of referred to like in the economic terms, and it talks about how fast money moves through the economy. When I talk about velocity of money, I'm talking about how fast I can get money to move through my investments. And it's really, the way that I look at it is how fast or how many jobs can I get $1 to do? And then the velocity, how fast can I get that same dollar doing multiple jobs, but how fast can I get it into more and more jobs? I had talked about on another video, I think last week I said that Warren Buffett said if you don't make money while you sleep, you'll be working till the day that you die. And that goes into this, but really there's a more appropriate comment from Einstein, who Einstein maybe is one of the most smartest guys in the world, maybe not from the financial investment side, but he said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world, right? We have 7 wonders. He says the 8th wonder of the world. And he said that those who understand it earn it, and those who don't understand it pay it. And so I want to earn it. I want to earn compound interest, and that goes into what we're going to be talking about today, the velocity of money. Because in order to understand the velocity of money, you have to understand interest rates. You have to understand like what a ROI, your return on investment is. So just from a high level, interest rates are what you get paid on your money. That's the interest, right? So if I was loaning money, I would get paid an interest rate. If I'm borrowing money, I'm having to pay an interest rate, right? That's the fee that it costs to lend or borrow. The ROI is the return on my investment. So that's the return. So when I invest into something or I loan something, I get a return on that. And then there's the spread. And so this is really where it comes into place, is the spread, or it can also be called arbitrage. And the spread is that if I can borrow at 4% and make back 10%, there's a spread. It's the difference between my cost to borrow and the money that I can make back. Now, the spread is the difference of what we can make, right? So if we can borrow for cheaper than we can make, then we make a spread, we make the difference. If I could borrow money at 4% from the bank and I could go make 10% somewhere else, there's about a 6% spread or margin that I could make. That's my profit. We call that arbitrage, right? And that's the spread. Now, I want to go show you over on the whiteboard, and I'm going to explain to you, kind of draw out a few ways that you can do this. So stay tuned. Here we go. Follow me. All right, so I thought it'd be easier if I come over here and I give you some examples of what I'm talking about with the velocity of money, how we can put $1 to multiple jobs, or we cannot. So the first illustration I'm going to show you right now with the velocity of money is a bad illustration. And this is what something that would typically be done. So I'm not a good artist, but let's say that we have a truck, right? A car, whatever. And so I'm going to put my, let's call it $50,000 into a truck, and then it sits there. So that $50,000 is parked in this vehicle and it's really doing nothing for me, but it's actually doing something. It's actually worse. So after a couple years, that vehicle may only be worth $25,000. So even though that $50,000 is parked doing nothing, it's actually losing money. So at the end of 3 years, I end up with $25,000. Another example might be, what you may be doing is, let's say that you have a house, right? So you have your house, and let's say that you had put I don't know, depends on where you live. Maybe you put $50,000 as a down payment. If you live in California, maybe you put $250,000 as a down payment. Maybe that home has appreciated in value and you have equity sitting in that house. So now you have maybe $250,000, maybe you have more, $300,000 of equity, and that money's sitting there. It's doing one job. It's parked. All right. So that's an example. That's a bad way to do it. That's not the velocity of money. That's $1 doing one job. Now a better example of what we could do, a way that we could get velocity of money, a way that we can get $1 to do two jobs would be going back to the car example. Instead of putting money just into the car or putting money just into a house, what I could do is both. So instead of putting my $50,000 into my car, instead of putting it there, what I could do is I could put that $50,000 into a rental property. And that rental property could now, with the $50,000, could now, let's say, make $600 a month. And that $600 a month could now make a car payment for me. So now my $50,000 is doing two jobs. It's on a house and it's making a car payment. So now that same $50,000, instead of it doing one job here, instead of it doing one job here, now that same $50,000 is doing two different jobs. That's a better way to do it. But we can get the velocity even going faster. Let me show you what I'm talking about. What we could do in this example is we could take the $50,000 and let's even use a smaller example. So let's say that we have a house here somewhere in the Midwest, and let's say that it's worth $50,000. The house is worth $50,000. I don't know where you're from. I'm in California. Home prices are pretty expensive, but I buy real estate in the Midwest. I buy it in Florida. I buy it in Tennessee. I buy it up in Indianapolis, in the Detroit area. So I'm buying a lot of homes in this price range here. And let's say that at 10% down, you need $5,000 to do that. So with $5,000, I buy this house. And now this house is making me, let's say, $300 a month. So I take that $300 and I put that $300 into a bank. And I build that up for about a year and a half until I have $5,000. So let's call it times 15 months. Now I have $5,000. And what I do with that is I take it and I put it into another house. And now that house is giving me $300 a month. So now I have a combined $600 a month, which takes me about 10 months times 10 to give me another $5,000. Sorry if my math is wrong. I'm doing it off the top of my head. Now I have another $5,000. So what do I do with that? I have another house. And then I have another house. And you get the idea. Now this $5,000 here, this $5,000 is doing multiple jobs. One job here, one job here, one job here, one job here. And now this house is throwing off $300 a month. And now I take that $300 a month and now I buy my car. Or whatever that is. But that's my car. So now I have this $5,000 buying one house, two house, three house, four house, and now it's buying a car. That's 5 jobs that $1 is doing for me right there. Now that's an example. We could continue to add more houses. We can do a lot of things. What happens is with these houses is over time, hopefully they're appreciating. I don't like to typically invest into real estate hoping for appreciation, but what is happening is the tenants that are paying this rent are also paying off the property for me. And now I'm starting to build equity. I'm building equity here. I'm building equity here. I'm building equity here. Now, eventually these homes will be paid off. What I could do is once I have equity, say I have $10,000, $20,000 in equity, I can pull my $20,000 out and I could go buy 4 more properties. I take this $20,000 out and I go buy 4 more properties. You get the idea. And this $5,000 here now just continues to grow and grow and grow. That's the velocity of money. Now, it's not just real estate. Let me give you some other examples of ways we can do it. There's lots of other ways that we can do it. Real estate is an easy way to do it. Another thing we can do is, I like to talk about cryptocurrencies, right? How can we do it with cryptocurrencies? Well, with cryptocurrencies, the term HODL, right? Hold on for dear life, right? So right now, Bitcoin is about $8,000. A lot of people think that it could be worth $15,000 $20,000 just in the next year alone. Some people think it might be $100,000 in the next 5 years, 10 years. So I want to hold that Bitcoin until, whatever. I don't know if it's going to be worth that. Let's say $50,000. So I want to hold on to that Bitcoin. But when I buy this Bitcoin and whatever I put into it, I don't have to put $8,000 in. I can put $100 into it. The point being that whatever money I decide to put into Bitcoin, that's Bitcoin. Whatever money I decide to put in there is parked. It's doing one job. And I don't want to sell it because I'm hoping to get this increase from $8,000 to whatever, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. So I want to hold it, but I don't have velocity of money, but there's a way I can do it. So what I can do is I can take this Bitcoin, whatever amount I have in there, it could be $10 worth of Bitcoin, it could be $1 million worth of Bitcoin. I take that Bitcoin and I put it over into a lending platform. And this could be Celsius, it could be Salt, it could be BlockFi, it could be Compound, it could be MakerDAO. There's plenty of them out there. And now I deposit this Bitcoin here. And now let's say that I put $20,000 of Bitcoin there. Now they'll loan me $10,000 of dollars. Now I take that $10,000 and I go buy 2 houses. And then each one of them are giving me $300 a month. So I have $600 a month combined. In 10 months, I have $6,000, which is enough to go buy another house. And now this Bitcoin, even though that dollar's there and I want to continue to hodl my Bitcoin and I want to ride that $8,000 to 10, 20, 30, 50, whatever it's going to go to, but I can park it over here, I can earn interest on it, take this money out, and then I can put it into other jobs. So now I'm hodling Bitcoin, but instead of it just doing one job, I've unlocked the value, and now I have it doing 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and I can just keep going on and on and on. All right, that's the way that we can do that. There's lots of other ways we can do that besides rental properties and whatnot. Basically anything that you can loan and borrow with. So anything that will give you a return. I could take this $10,000 out. I could take this $10,000 out and invest it into my business. Let's say that I invested into my business and now I'm able to buy materials in bulk, or I'm able to put it into a new marketing program, or I'm able to buy, spend it in R&D to come up with new products or whatever. And let's say that I take that $10,000, put it in my business, and that $10,000, I'm able to turn that into $50,000 in my business. All right. Still, that dollar is now here and it's growing in value at the lending platform. And now it's growing in my business. Now I've made $50,000. I can take that and then I can go buy 5 houses. You get the idea. I don't want to show you exactly, I don't know what your situation is. You don't have to use these dollar amounts. Remember, it's all about percentages. I'm just trying to give you ideas. That's how the velocity of money works. Now I'm going to go back over to the computer and I'm going to show you some risks that you need to watch out for, but I'm also going to show you some big advantages that you also need to watch out for. So here we go. All right, now hopefully those illustrations were helpful for you. That's the first time I've done the whiteboard. So hopefully that made sense when I drew it out and you could see it there. But that's how it works, right? We use the leverage, but you have to understand there's risks with this. Now in the video before where I kind of brought this up, I had a lot of comments saying, well, isn't this risky? Yeah, there is a lot of risk, right? There's a lot of risk doing anything. And if you put money in your mattress, there's a risk with that. If I put money in the bank, there's a risk with that. If I loan my money out to someone else, there's risk. So everything has risk and reward, and we have to weigh that. But then when you add the leverage on top of it, it magnifies that. So the leverage can allow me to grow super fast, but it can also cause me to lose super fast. So I need to be careful of that. But there's the ways that we can play this, like over on the whiteboard, I kind of explained to you, right? We can do it with crypto. We can do it with real estate. We can leverage those assets to buy other things. There's like infinite banking concepts, which I haven't got into, which I think are amazing. I've been doing them for about 15 years. If you want to know more about that, leave it in the comments down below. But basically I can put my money in, say I'm making 8 to 10% a year, then I can borrow that money back out at say 5%. So I make that 5% spread. Then I can put it into real estate, then I can pull it out, I can put it into crypto, then I can borrow against my crypto, I can put it into other real estate, and etc. Private equity is another place that we can do that, like I showed you over there. So there's lots and lots of ways that you can play this and you can do this on your own. Now, there's also a lot of benefits. So there are risks, but there's also a lot of benefits. And some of those benefits are like tax advantages, so big tax advantages. So when I'm borrowing against my money to go do something else with it, that's not a taxable event. I'm borrowing money. Now, if I go make that money and then I want to spend it on the crypto or I want to spend it on a house, I have to pay tax on that money. But when I borrow money to go buy the crypto, go buy the other house, whatever asset it is, I don't have to pay tax because it's a loan. I'm not paying tax on that. So that's a big one. Also, asset protection. When I'm borrowing against it, I don't technically own it. So there's not that big asset that a lot of people want to go after. Also for passing things on through retirement, death benefits, things like that. And then of course with growth, right? As I showed you on the whiteboard, you can see how quickly you can multiply this. Now, talk to your attorneys, talk to your CPAs about the tax advantages and asset protections. I'm not going to advise you on that, but just know that they're available and you should definitely talk to your professional about that. And then, like I said, there are risks. So we have counterparty risk. So anytime you give somebody else your money, when you give your money to your bank, it's called, they're the counterparty and there's counterparty risk. The bank could not give you your money back. Legally, technically, you don't have that money anymore. They owe you that money. It's a big distinction. They could be closed over the weekend. They could whatever. They could decide not to give you your money back. The government could seize that money. So there's counterparty risk. Anytime, if I put it into that real estate house and things don't work out, I could lose it there. And if I've over leveraged it, it could affect my entire portfolio. So there are risks because that, like I said, that leverage can help you grow super, super fast, but it can also tear you down super fast. So you got to be careful. You got to use caution. All right, but that's the secret. That's how the rich get rich really, really fast. That's how you can get $1 doing multiple jobs. Hopefully you like this video. I know it's a little bit long. Give me some thumbs up if you do. This was the most requested topic. If you don't like it, give me some thumbs down. Either way, but let me know. Leave a note in the comments down below. Tell me if you've known about this concept and if you're using it in your own investment life. I want to know if you guys are doing this. And that's it. To your success. I'm out.